Hi, my name's Dominic Barter. I'm speaking to you from Rio de Janeiro, and I'm excited to speak a little bit about my work. This work means a lot to me, and I'll be traveling to the US because this is the most effective way that I've found to really contribute to the kind of world that I want to live in, and particularly the world that I would like my daughter to grow up in. I've been living and working in Rio and in other places in Brazil on and off since 1992 and permanently since 1999. And I started working in shantytowns and in schools in the late 90s and developing projects that sought to empower local communities to be able to find their own solutions to the kind of challenges that were surrounding them. According to UNESCO, only 2.8% of the world's population, the people living here, are committing 13% of all the murders in the world. And violent death by intentional shooting is the principal cause of mortality for under 25s in Rio. We also have in Brazil one of the largest rates of police death and also police killings. So on both sides, both the official justice system side and local communities, we see that the present strategies being used are really unsatisfactory. So with this in mind, the Ministry of Justice began to look into alternatives, and at the end of 2004 instituted the first pilot projects in restorative justice in the country. There were 3 projects. I was invited to develop the training module and the design of the restorative practice for 2 of them, that in São Paulo and in Porto Alegre in the south of Brazil. And what these 2 projects had in common was that they both worked with adolescents, although the process that we developed has now extended to be used with adults as well. We've been working solidly for the last 4 years to build these projects, and there are some quite unique aspects to them which have proved to be very effective for us. One of them is that the design of the project and the training and the work that the facilitator does in a restorative circle is orientated by the principles and practice of nonviolent communication. Nonviolent communication is an active process of research into communication, partnership, and how we deal with conflict that has been going on for the last 45 years under the guidance of Marshall Rosenberg. And I used nonviolent communication to design this process and to ensure, among other things, that we produced something which is truly a circle. So where power is shared and people have the possibility to search for a new solution to their conflict without the threat of one person using their structural authority over someone else to punish or cause further pain. One other key difference is that we've sought right from the very beginning to work in tandem, the justice system with the education system, social services and local communities. And as another aspect of this, we have been able to discover many areas in which restorative practices can be beneficial, even outside of the normal context of justice issues. So we've worked with schools on what many people might consider very minor issues that normally would not have alerted the attention of a policeman or a judge. And we've also found that in local communities, such as church groups or neighborhood organizations or NGOs, that the benefits have also been evident, and people have begun to use the restorative circles in many different ways.
What excites me the most is that this is such a genius process. You can take it almost anywhere. You can take it to a jailhouse, you can take it to a social group, you can take it to a business. If we can get this system into our school, then we can change our school for the better. We can stop a lot of fighting. You can start healing the school instead of just stopping it. You can begin to make the school a better place for all the students. That's what excites me the most. I'm like, I'm gonna be able to use this. It's not useless.
Yeah, I saw a video of Dominic's, and what really struck me is the stories that I heard. I thought I shouldn't be believing them, but something in me did believe them. And even though I was telling myself, oh, you shouldn't believe that, I really believed they were true. Like a shopkeeper hiring the guy that robbed him, and something in me knew it was true and knew there was a reason it happened, and I wanted to go find out that reason. Like, how does this happen?
It feels like we're actually creating a new world here, like literally, like we're actually doing it. In terms of interacting with other people and organizations, this has been incredibly enlivening.
Just in me personally, I now am not afraid to pretty much talk to anyone because I'm aware that there's a way that it can work. Like, I'm not afraid of conflict now because I know that there's a way that it can work.
So what I hope to do is principally share with you the model that we've developed over the last 4 years, why it looks as it does, why we present this work in the way we do, and the ways in which it connects and is supported by the 35 years of active research into the restorative justice field that's been going on all over the world, and why in some specific key areas it differs, and we hope that those differences will be a contribution to the general conversation about how best we can support our communities to heal and recover from disagreements and crime. I also hope, by presenting the model that we've developed here, to be able to engage you in a dialogue about what you might do in your local communities. So by presenting the principles and encouraging you through practical exercises to start thinking about your local communities, whether it's a church group, a school, or a prison or a justice system, to think about how this process and other processes like it might contribute to stronger community ties and a greater ability for us not just to recover from conflict or resolve conflict, but actually to have conflict. So I think of the restorative circles not just as a way to respond to crime, but actually as a way for us to have our conflicts, a way to enable these conflicts to flower fully so that each position, each person's point of view can be fully expressed, and we hear all the basic voices that need to be heard from their own position of authority and contribution within that community. And I hope establish an ongoing working relationship, if that's something you're interested in, where we can continue to grow and learn from each other and contribute in a general way to our communities being safer, our families being safer, and in the end, a non-violent world, the kind of world where each person's basic human needs are taken into consideration and everybody has their place.